So I did not do any updates as I went with this book because I have had too many big video projects in a row, and I know I have other big video projects coming up, and I'm tired of editing long videos. So in the interest of ensuring that I didn't have like a 45-minute to 2-hour long video to edit, I just didn't update as I went along because it's hard to talk too much when you only do one video, one clip. All of that is to say, hello. Today I finished reading Pardon My Frenchie by Farrah Rochon. I should have checked the author's name before I started the video. I'm pretty sure that is the author's name. It is a contemporary male-female romance about the owner of a dog daycare, like boarding facility, and a retired army vet who is like aspiring to open a bar. And the way that they come in contact with each other, because those sound like completely detached realities, the way they come in contact with each other is Thad, who's the retired soldier. He comes into possession of his grandmother's dog because his grandmother has to go into an elderly care facility because of a hip injury, and she like can't live in her home anymore, and the assisted living facility doesn't allow pets, so Thad takes over the care of her dog. Thad doesn't super like dogs, and in particular this dog and him don't get along, so he's like not excited about that. But this dog is boarded at Ashanti, the female main character. It's boarded at her dog daycare, Barkingham Palace. So when he goes to pick up the dog, they meet, they get off on the wrong foot because he's very surly and also doesn't like dogs, and it just follows them through, you know, a bunch of stuff happens. So it's a great summary. Basically, Ashanti, her business is like growing and growing and growing, and she knows that she needs a bigger facility. So she's been looking at this house, and she keeps stalling on putting an offer in because she knows it has a lot of work that needs to be done, even just outside of like the renos that she would do to make it into a doggy daycare. It has other work that needs to be done. So she's like, I'm waiting for that price to go down. But Thad, who just recently, I think he just recently moved back into town, or like moved into New Orleans, specifically to like help his grandmother. He, while driving, he has to take a detour because of like there's like a little accident or something, I can't remember, and he just happens to take a detour down the street that has this house, and he's like, oh my god, that house is for sale, that'll be great for my bar. And so he and his business partner buy the house, and so they also get off on the wrong foot because Thad bought the house that Ashanti wanted. Another element is that Ashanti's dog Duchess and Thad's now dog Puddin are like really, really cute together. And there's a like 24-hour live stream camera at the Barkingham Palace facility in one of the like play areas. And there's a clip that goes viral of Puddin and Duchess being really cute. And that ends up like really blowing up the daycare on social media and everything, and also blowing up their business. And so Ashanti is now dealing with like bigger and bigger and bigger opportunities, but these opportunities are really only possible if she has Duchess, her dog, and Puddin, who is now Thad's dog. So like Thad keeps getting roped into doing stuff with Ashanti for the sake of the daycare. And she also like, as things go on, she's like, well, we can also promote your soon-to-be bar through all this, and like all that. All of that is to say, it's a cute little romance. I liked it. I'll say it now so I don't forget, because sometimes I forget to note this. It does have smut in it. I will say it's not super smutty. There's only like 2 actual instances of smut on page, and I don't consider them super detailed. There's definitely details, but it's not like, how do I describe this? There's smut that's technically graphic, and then there's smut that is graphic, and this more falls into the former. Most of the rest of the sex scenes are like more or less fade to black or just like alluded to. They tend to be pretty brief. Just to be aware, it is an adult romance, and it does have heat, but it's not I'd give it like a 1 for heat. One element that I do appreciate and that I was like a little nervous of, like I kept delaying on picking up this book, but I was a little nervous of like, how is it going to handle writing dogs? Because dogs are obviously very central to this plot. And some books, when it comes to writing pets, it just writes them as like quirky, cutie, silly, and like almost like the closest I could compare it to is like a cartoon sidekick. Like that's what it feels like, where it's like, okay, dogs are like that some of the time, but like this isn't what dogs are like. Where this book, thankfully, I felt was really good at representing how dogs behave. Like, yes, they're cute and silly. Like there's the webcam or live stream camera moment that I'm like, absolutely, that is a cute thing that dogs would do, and it's adorable and wonderful. But it also has moments like, you know, the dog tearing up things it's not supposed to tear up. And like, oh, we just stayed the night in a hotel and the dog got, nervous diarrhea and pooped everywhere. And like, there's stuff like that also happens. And it's like, yes, dogs are wonderful, but they are also animals and they will behave like animals. So I did appreciate that. I felt it was a pretty realistic representation of like animals in general and owning a pet in particular. I thought both characters had a lot of complexity and depth, and like they felt very real. These felt like they could be real people. They had a lot going on in their backstory. They had very real goals and motives, and I understood why the characters were worried about the things they were worried about, excited about the things they were excited about, and like why they were striving for what they were striving for. I also felt like they had good chemistry. Like, I enjoyed seeing Thad and Ashanti interact with each other. I liked them being on page together, which is part of where like I didn't think the sex scenes were super great. Like they were I have very little to say about the sex scenes because one, there wasn't a lot to them, and two, there just wasn't a lot to them. Like they weren't good or bad, they were just kind of there. But I didn't mind that because the character writing otherwise was like really, really good. Like the way the relationship was developed, I liked. It was easy to root for these characters to get together. I understood why they liked each other. I also appreciated another element that's really, really important, particularly in Ashanti's part of the story, is she has two twin sisters who she has guardianship of because their parents passed away. And she's like, I think she's like 7 years older than her sisters. And they're like in their teens, they're still in high school. And I thought the book did a good job of like showcasing sisterly relationships, but also like being in that position of like having to be a caretaker. I don't have experience with that, but like I'm a mom, so there's elements of what Ashanti was dealing with that like I kind of felt for as a mom. But then there's also the sense of like I've never been a caretaker to my sisters. They're both older than me, but I do have sisters. So I could kind of like, I could feel for that dynamic. And I also, again, thought it was like a good representation of that kind of relationship, of a sisterly relationship, and also of like teenagers in general. The story just, it always felt like there were a lot of moving parts, not in the sense that like this has a super complicated, detailed plot, but like these characters both have a lot going on. And for the most part, like a large part of the reason why the characters take as long as they do to get together is because they both just have a lot going on, even when they get past their initial, like, getting off on the wrong foot when they met, even when they get past that and realize that they have good chemistry and they like each other and they get along really well, there's still things holding them back because they both have so much going on and also like baggage that they have. So I did enjoy that. I'm giving this book like a 4-star. I debated on giving it a 5, but it just doesn't feel like a 5. I don't quite know how to pinpoint it. Like I don't have any really specific criticism of it, but it's just one of those books that you come away from, and after you're done reading it, it's like, that was good. I enjoyed that. That was a really good book. Is it a 5? No. It didn't feel like a 5. And that's as far as I can articulate it. I wish I could speak more specifically about why, but I don't know. It's a je ne sais quoi. I really liked this book. I do definitely recommend it. Thank you for watching this far in the video. If you made it to the end, leave a dog emoji because this is a book about dogs. mostly sort of kind of. It's a book about people who own dogs. All my links are below for my other social medias. My Patreon is linked below. Through my Patreon, you not only get access to longer spoiler-filled videos, not for this book because I didn't do that. I had too much to edit for other videos, but other videos I have spoilery, ranty videos of. And you can also request that I review specific books through my Patreon through tier 3. So go check that out if you ever want to hear my opinion on a specific book. And thank you for watching. Okay, bye!